football game. You go back more than 1946. The game took place in Boston. The Giants defeated the Boston Yanks 17-0 at Old Braves Field, which was also the home of the baseball Braves before they moved to Milwaukee and then subsequently to Atlanta. Field appears to be in very good shape. It was covered, of course. Took the tarp off. Chad Hole is going to run the kickback. It's interesting, the Minnesota Vikings won the toss and they elected to defer, which makes you think, first off, maybe they have an onside kick in mind. But Philadelphia, sensing that, and they've got 7 guys inside the 50-yard line. And away we finally go to wrap up the 16th week from Philadelphia. Longwell's kick, Hall on the run at the 15-yard line. And he takes it back out to the 31-yard line. Michael Vick loves to go long, as do the Eagles on the opening play of a game. The Eagles with 3 plays of 60 or more yards on the team's first play. The rest of the league compositely with 1. And there is Vick in the first quarter this season, a 125 rating. So they have gotten off the hot starts. They love to send the ball vertically down the field, much as the Raiders did for so many years, trying to open the game up with a long pass down the middle. See what they do here. He's going to roll to his left. He's under pressure, and Vick's going to run with the ball, and he's going to run for a first down. And he starts the game with a 14-yard rush. He's finally tackled by E.J. Henderson.
Well, anytime you're going to try and get up here and fool around with these linebackers inside, the first thing that happens to you is you get no pursuit. Jared Allen tried to take an inside rush move, and Mike Vick was just gone. And once again, Mike Vick, no slide. He said he tried it this week. They brought out the pad, and he just can't get it.
He was a little slow in getting up, but back to the huddle he goes, and now out of the shotgun with a ball at the 44-yard line on first down. Pressured again, and this time they get him. And this is Antoine Winfield coming around from the corner, as he's done so many times throughout an illustrious career, to get the sack here.
Well, Antoine Winfield has been doing this for a long time. Right here he is, coming off the edge, and he's a guy that athletically, unless Mike Vick sees him in time, is going to be able to run him down from behind. But this is a pretty nice start here for the Minnesota Vikings. It looks like they're just going to throw caution to the wind a little bit and try and do what everybody's doing, come after Mike Vick.
5-9 record, nothing to lose. On the ground on 2nd and long, and this will be McCoy, and he will get taken down. Jared Allen. It'll be 3rd and long as we take a look at the Philadelphia starters.
Michael Vick, Virginia Tech.
LaShawn McCoy, Pitt Panthers.
Owen Schmidt, West Virginia.
Deshaun Jackson, California. Jeremy Mackin, Mizzou Tigers.
Brent Stellick, Cincinnati.
Jason Peters, Arkansas.
Todd Herman, Saginaw Valley.
Mike McGlynn, Pitt. Max Gene Gillis, Georgia. Winston Justice, Southern Cal.
It'll be 3rd down and 14, 2 minutes into the game. Here's Vick again, pressured by Winfield, and launches it deep downfield, but too deep. Deshaun Jackson had beaten the coverage, had gotten out in front on a deep post, but the pass overthrown. It'll be 4th down.
Well, Kevin Williams going to come right on a little stunt into the inside and makes Mike Vick throw it just a little bit quicker. Again, they blitz Winfield off the edge, and it's interesting. Mike Vick was telling us the one guy I've never been able to overthrow is Deshaun Jackson, who just did.
Here's Sam Rocca's kick. There's a flag at the line of scrimmage as the ball bounces out of bounds at about the 16-yard line. Mike Carey is the referee. Leslie Frazier trusting his defense by deferring. And Mike Carey will give us the call on the punt.
Illegal motion. Offense, number 14, never got set. 5-yard penalty. Minnesota elected to take it at the previous spot. Replay 4th down.
All right, so they'll make them kick again. It'll be 4th down and 19. Back them up 5 yards. And the feeling is that Frazier thinks he can do better than wind up with the ball at the 16-yard line. Brad Childress was the coach of the Vikings, was in his 4th year, was fired on November 22nd. Frazier was the defensive coordinator, and then Leslie was named the interim head coach. Will he be the head coach? Well, that's the question in Minnesota. Will he be interviewed after the season? Probably. But there's no answer yet from Ziggy Wolf and the folks that own the Minnesota Vikings. And in a way, it's a bit of a mini audition over these last 6 weeks. Frazier's record is 2-2 coming into the game. Rocca's kick. And that one will go out of bounds at just about the same spot they would have wound up earlier, this time the 17-yard line. And that's where the Vikings will take over for the first time in the game in Philadelphia on this Tuesday night. Laps from Sunday and the blizzard to tonight. Clear. There's Brett Favre, a sight that you almost never see. In fact, his streak of 297 snapped a couple of weeks ago, but then he played last week after it was determined or declared that he was out a couple of days before the game in Minnesota against Chicago, but out tonight. Ball at the 18 as Webb hands the ball off to Peterson, who just got named to the Pro Bowl. He's up to the 24-yard line. So for Webb, who started the year as number 3 behind Favre and behind Jackson, who was really drafted as a wide receiver, he is the 8th rookie quarterback to start a game this season. And he's also a guy who was drafted in the exact spot that produced Tom Brady. Round 6, overall pick number 199.
How'd that work out?
If you believe in omens. 2nd down and 5. And there's nothing happening on the right side. But staying on his feet, that was Percy Harvin taking the handoff. Harvin, the wide receiver who lines up in the backfield a lot, couldn't get on track 3rd and 6.
How about this Jamar Chaney coming up? Right here he is. Just his 2nd start. He's out there running the Eagles defense because of the injury to Stuart Bradley. Had 16 tackles in his debut last week and comes out and fills that one beautifully.
Lorenzo Booker is now in the backfield, and Webb will throw and have that one knocked down at the line of scrimmage by Darryl Tapp. So Joe Webb's first series is a 3-and-out, and the Vikings send in the punting unit.
Well, here we go right up here. Looks like Darryl Tapp able to get his hands up and get it on that ball.
Jeremy Macklin's going to run the punt back. Chris Cluey to punt. Last time, of course, the Eagles ran a punt back was last Sunday at the Meadowlands when Deshaun Jackson ended the game with a spectacular return to give Philadelphia a most improbable win. And Macklin loses the football. A flag comes in, and Macklin's going to contend that he was interfered with by Jamarcus Sanford. Interfered with on the fair catch, and we'll see what carry rules here. But that appeared to be the call.
Yeah, it looked like an illegal touch. Maybe it even hit the punting team man going down the field first.
Interference with the opportunity to make a fair catch on the kicking team. Number 33, 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, timeout.
Big penalty is going to give Philadelphia the ball at about midfield. Penalty on Sanford. Log on NBCSports.com/SNF Extra. It's even SNF on Tuesday, but just log on, check it out, and that's what it will look like. Enjoy the Sunday night experience some 48 hours later. No score. The ball is at the 50-yard line. Interference with the opportunity to make a fair catch was the call on Sanford. And Michael Vick, who was named today as the NFC starter in the Pro Bowl. Tom Brady on the other side comes up here, and he'll toss it to Jackson, and that will go nowhere. A little discombobulated at the start. Jared Allen came in to bust up the play. No gain, 2nd down.
Boy, it was such a dangerous play. Right there is Jared Allen, and he just splits this whole thing. And Mike Vick, I think, was trying to get to Deshaun Jackson to get the toss, but he could feel Jared Allen, and that is hit number 4 already on Mike Vick. And really, since that Giants game here, the game plan has been get as many shots as you can on Mike Vick.
That's 4 times he's been hit in 5 plays. Quick flip. Jackson is going to drop that one. And it will be 3rd down. Let's take a look at that Minnesota defense.
Ray Edwards, Cincinnati Woodward.
Pat Williams, Walsman High School. Kevin Williams, Oklahoma State.
Jared Allen, Culinary Academy.
Chad Greenway, University of Iowa.
E.J. Henderson, Maryland. Ben Lieber, Kansas State.
Antoine Winfield, The Ohio State University.
Hussein Abdullah, Washington State.
Jamarcus Sample, University of Sapanola.
Asher Allen, Georgia.
That defense so good last year. They're 7th in the league in giving up yardage, but they've given up a lot of points. They're 17th in points allowed. And before we have a 3rd down and 10, we have a stoppage.
Philadelphia is not requesting a charge timeout. They're down.
All right, we have no idea what that was about.
I've never seen that. But I tell you, it needed a bit of an alarm clock here for the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, this has been kind of a sleepy start for them, and I'm sure that everybody's schedule is a little out of whack.
It is. In fact, the fan schedule is a little out of whack. It looks like every other seat in this place right now is empty.
It just doesn't feel like it typically feels when you walk in here. And of course, you know, they're big favorites, and the Vikings are out there with their 3rd-string quarterback, but they got to get going here.
They wind the clock now. It's 3rd down and 10 from the 50-yard line. Vick with a clean pocket this time, going deep, and there's a flag. And that time it's Macklin, who's covered by Asher Allen, and the penalty will be on Minnesota.
Well,
Pass interference. Defense number 21. From the spot of the foul. Automatic. 1st down.
well, this is going to be a difficult challenge tonight for these cornerbacks and safeties for Minnesota. They're down to some of their 2nd and 3rd string guys. Asher Allen really playing because Cedric Griffin is hurt. And there's LaShawn McCoy coming over to get the pickup. But this is a couple of deep balls that they've had opportunities to hit so far that they've missed. But that was a big break.
24-yard penalty, 1st down from the 26. Now McCoy. Nothing there. LaShawn McCoy was also named to the Pro Bowl today. McCoy in his 2nd. I'm sorry, McCoy did not. He's the first alternate. He's the first alternate, which means he has a chance to play in it. But none of these guys really want to play in the Pro Bowl, because the Pro Bowl this year is, as it was last year, the week before the Super Bowl. And if you are in the Super Bowl, you obviously are excused from the Pro Bowl.
There you go.
There you go. Just to clean that up. 2nd down and 10 with the ball at the 26-yard line. Wow. And they give it to McCoy. McCoy gets taken down in the backfield by Jared Allen. Allen had only 1 sack through the first half of the season, but he's had about a sack a game since, so he has picked it up.
Well, Jared Allen right now, they're getting all kinds of help because they're going with the inside pressure. He's going to come back inside, and then Chad Greenway goes inside, so Peters had to pick him up, which gave Jared Allen another free shot in the backfield. I don't think I've seen the Eagles giving up as many free runners on the defensive side as I have so far in this one.
3rd down and 16 from the 31. It's the Eagles' 2nd possession. And Vick moving forward, throws, and they're going to rule it a completion at the 3-yard line to Jeremy Macklin for 28 yards. And Frazier waiting for that replay and waiting to hear from the coaches upstairs as to what they think.
Look how much more comfortable Mike Vick is in that pocket. You see the deep drop that he takes. He thinks that gives him a little better vision of the field. And then when he starts to attack up the field defensively, you're just in no man's land. Nice catch, 2 feet down, no question.
79!
And that's what the guys have seen upstairs. They don't know. They threw the flag, and they have thrown the flag, but it's too late. There was some confusion on the sideline. The pass goes to Selleck. He gets tackled by Greenway. All the coaches were lined up, and the flag was thrown. There it is. but it was thrown too late for Mike Carey or any of the officials to see it. There was some question as to whether they should challenge or not. It was very close because that knee was going down along with the second foot, and Frazier got the flag out too late, and he knows it.
Well, you know what's weird about the system that we have in place is that when you throw the flag from the coach's box way back there, the officials won't see it if it's down around the goal line. I mean, it's just a natural thing.
They may have won that challenge. Second and goal, that knee was down. And that pass to the back of the end zone. The back judge looking, checking. Touchdown is the call to Clay Harbor. And Frazier will want his guys to tell him about this possible challenge.
Well, this is some play by Clay Harbor because he basically is getting knocked backwards as he was catching the ball, but he still managed to get that second foot down. How many times do you see that second foot go flying out of the back of the end zone, but he somehow jams it in the ground? What a great catch. Don't see the ball moving.
Boy, that was close. This time they are going to challenge.
The ruling on the field is a catch for a score. It's being challenged by Minnesota.
Now, there's no such thing as a force out anymore. He gets forced out by Jamarcus Sanford. They'll take another look at this one. Very close. This is going to be very tough to overturn because I'm not sure it's conclusive, but it's as close as you can get. Because, take a look again. Clearly, the first foot is down. He gets the left foot down. The right foot is down, but is the side of the left leg, does that touch out of bounds before the right foot comes down? That's the whole question. There's no question about possession. He has that all the way. Now, the two officials had to talk to each other to rule it on the field.
Watch the first foot. That one is the key. Does it slide out of the back of the end zone there?
Right. Is that out of bounds before the right foot touches? And so Frazier, who I think would have won that first challenge, had to challenge this one. This is tough. I would say they don't overturn it because it's not conclusive enough. And in fact, Mike Carey spent a long time under the hood. Here he is.
After review, the ruling on the field stands as a touchdown. Minnesota is charged with first team timeout.
So close that it's inconclusive, and so you have to stay with the ruling on the field.
Oh, you're going to see the official can't get a much better look at it than that. He is right there, foot down. He sees that second foot down, and the only question was, did that first foot that went down slide across the line? But it really doesn't matter now. That was a heck of a play to take a hit like that in midair and still cram that second foot down. That was a nice catch.
So Clay Harbor, the rookie out of Missouri State, fourth-round draft choice, his first career touchdown. David Akers for the point after. And as we approach the halfway mark of the first quarter, the Philadelphia Eagles take a 7-0 lead over Minnesota. Not everyone was happy the game was postponed on Sunday night. In particular, how about the governor of Pennsylvania, Ed Rendell?
We've become a nation of wusses. The Chinese are kicking our butt in everything. If this was in China, do you think the Chinese would have called off the game? He's right. The people would have been marching down to the stadium. They would have walked, and they would have been doing calculus on the way down. Get Bud Grant on the phone.
Oh, I mean,
Get Bud Grant on the phone. What he would say. They would say that we have become a nation of wusses.
And there is Ed Rendell, longtime season ticket holder. He calls into talk shows more than Vinny from Paramus. But he comes to all the games. He's on a lot of pregame shows, loves to do radio. A lot of the Eagle front office people not happy with him. In fact, one senior official told me today he's just too attention starved. Akers' kick is a touchback. Here's the surprise they had for the governor, who was also the former mayor of the city of Philadelphia. They set up his place of honor thusly.
Message sent and message received.
So who sits in that seat tonight?
Snowman.
Sunday's accumulations, as you can see, 12.5 inches in Philadelphia. And a good many of those inches fell during what would have been the game itself. On first down, the pass is caught by Percy Harvin. That's a gain of 8 yards out to the 28. It'll be second down and 2.
Well, that had to feel good for Joe Webb. Here's a guy that we talked about it a little bit, but he was a wide receiver in camp. And Brad Childress, of course, knew he played quarterback in college, saw him throwing the ball around, and he was like, hey, wait a minute, man, this guy's pretty good. Let's give him a chance. And here he is starting on national television.
There's a flip to the outside, and that's Shanko making the catch. Gain of 1, third and short. Let's take a look at the Viking starters.
Joe Webb, UAB.
Adrian Peterson, Oklahoma.
Naufal Tahi, Brigham Young.
Sidney Rice, South Carolina.
Percy Harvin, Florida.
Vasaf Shenko, the Morgan State.
Brian McKinney, the U.
Chris DeGear, Wake Forest.
John Sullivan, Notre Dame.
Ryan Cook, New Mexico. Phil Loho, Oklahoma.
Vasant Shenko, formerly known as Vasante Shenko.
I loved his other name.
Yeah, I liked it better too. Third and 2. And that toss is to Tahi, the fullback. And they pick up their initial first down as he is forced out of bounds up at the 39-yard line. I agree with you. I like the Vasante Shenko better.
Yeah. There's Joe Webb. We had a chance to sort of watch him warm up tonight, and the thing that you notice right away is the size of this guy's hand. I don't think he would have had any problem at all throwing it in the blizzard the other night. If we put it next to Brett Favre's hand, who's one of the biggest around, and dwarfed Brett's.
24-year-old rookie, born in Birmingham, Alabama, and stayed home to go to school at UAB, and he's going to run. He ran for a touchdown in the Monday nighter last week outdoors at the University of Minnesota Stadium, and he's about 3 yards shy of the first down.
Well, here's the comparison. There's Joe Webb, and there's Brett Favre, and Brett Favre looks like it's relatively small hand compared to Spider-Man Joe Webb.
Go far behind Pat Morris, the line coach, at second down and 3. Peterson will thread his way close to a first down, and we'll take a look at the Philadelphia starters.
Jaquay Parker, Oklahoma State.
Mike Patterson, the Southern California.
Antonio Dixon, the U.
Trent Cole, Cincinnati.
Moses Foku, Maryland.
Jamar Chaney,
Mississippi State.
Ernest Sims, Florida State.
Asante Samuel, UCF Knights.
Quentin Michael, Boise State. Kurt Coleman, the Ohio State University.
Dimitri Patterson, Tuskegee University.
2 rookie starters, and both were drafted in the 7th round in Chaney and Coleman. It's third down and 1 now. Off the fake, Webb in trouble, but escapes the sack and then completes the pass to Shenko for a first down. You had Jaquay Parker coming in, almost got the sack. Webb able to roll away, gain 9, move the chains.
How about that play by Joe Webb? Jaquay Parker had a free shot at him here. Watch this little wiggle, right? No, not going to get away. We told you what a runner he is. He ran for 1,427 yards at Alabama Birmingham, which is the 3rd most in NCAA history for a quarterback. So he is mobile.
Peterson to the 39-yard line. Peterson, the only Viking named to the Pro Bowl in his 4th year in the league. One thing about Peterson, remember the only rap on him coming into the season was that he was a fumbler. And he coughed it up 20 times in his first 3 seasons, a lot of those in very key situations. So he worked on it. He worked on it to the point that this year, 0. Hasn't fumbled at all, not once. Second down and 5. Ernie Sims came across the line. Was it him? Or was it a Viking with a false start? Answer forthcoming.
Before any movement by the offense, encroachment, defense, number 90, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Antonio Dixon, speaking of Peterson, working on that fumble issue. Most in the NFL for a non-quarterback over a 3-year period. 1 every 51 touches. But through week 15, 0 on 280. And it's pretty much that Tiki Barber thing where Barber carried it high and tight, and that erased Tiki's issue. Same thing with Peterson, or at least that's what he attributes it to. We're talking to him. 2nd and 1. They're going to give it to Harvin on the end around. Cole chases him, and Harvin will pick up the first down. So Harvin, who's missed some time and had to go to the Mayo Clinic in Arizona because he has those migraine issues, and that was costing him some time in training camp, cost him some time during the regular season. Hopes he's on his way to recovering from that issue. Picks up the first down here.
Watch Trent Cole here. He actually plays this thing pretty darn well, but Percy Harvin just too fast. Got around the corner out there. And, you know, this Minnesota Vikings offense still has great weapons around if Joe Webb can kind of just play point guard here tonight.
From the 27. The ball off to Peterson, but the middle is clogged. That's Jamar Chaney, one of those rookies we talked about. Rookie out of Mississippi State, taking the spot of the injured Stuart Bradley, and picked in the 7th round.
You know, this Philadelphia Eagles defense, they started the year and there was really major questions. Could they stop the run? And they were having a tough time the first month of the season. Made some changes defensively. Antonio Dixon, Moses Foku, Jaquay Parker put in the lineup for Sean McDermott. And all of a sudden, over the past 10 games or so, their run defense has been pretty solid, and it was very good against the Giants last week.
2nd and 11. Webb. Flush out. There's a flag. Mike Carey threw it from behind the play. He's taken down by Asante Samuel at the 22-yard line.
Personal foul, face mask, offense, number 71. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot and still 2nd down.
Right tackle Phil Lodeholt.
Yeah, I think he got hold of Darryl Tapp, and Darryl Tapp actually looked at the official to give him a little help, said, yeah, that's right. There's Lodeholt right there. And just as Webb is starting to scramble away, I think you'll see Lodeholt just grab him. There you go. And then Tapp points over at Mike Carey for a little help.
Penalty will make it a 2nd and 26 from the 44. Webb going deep for Rice, and it's batted incomplete. Asante Samuel missing 3 games with a knee issue, but back in the lineup last week and leading the league in interceptions with 7. Bats it.
Well, Asante Samuel going to the Pro Bowl, and it's because he can make plays like this. Although I think this was a good idea on the part of the Vikings. Asante Samuel, watching him last week against the Giants, just was not healthy with that knee. And they got behind him a couple of times early, so they send Sidney Rice. But Joe Webb was probably 10 yards short on that throw. Didn't even give his big guy a chance to go up and make a play.
Final 2 minutes of the quarter, 7-0. Philadelphia 3rd and 26. Deep over the middle, and that's incomplete. And all the way back there was Jamar Chaney, the middle linebacker, covering on the play, knocking it down. 4th down.
I tell you, Jamar Chaney has come out here and really established himself. He's just going to, from his middle linebacker position, watch him turn and make a play on the ball. That is something that is usually very difficult for middle linebackers to try and do. He is a young, athletic kid, and he is making plays for this defense.
Chris Cluey's 2nd punt. Chad Hall setting up back the Eagle 10. Eagles set up a return and will not have the opportunity as the ball just does cross the goal line for a touchback. Minute and a half to go in the quarter. Philly with the ball and a 1-touchdown lead. Saturday, New Year's Day, and that means hockey. Hockey outside in Pittsburgh, Heinz Field. Alex Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby, the Capitals, the Penguins, the Winter Classic coming up on NBC 1 Eastern time. New Year's Day, a look at the rink in the middle of Heinz Field, home of the Steelers, and for one day anyway, the home of the Penguins.
That's a party, isn't it?
Yeah.
They take that thing outside, they have some fun.
It's great. Great scene. McCoy on first down, picks up a first down. Jamarcus Sanford comes up to make the tackle after a gain of 11.
Tell you, LaShawn McCoy makes you cover the entire field, and Todd Harriman's right here is going to go to work. They had a little stunt down inside by Kevin Williams, and McCoy saw it and just jumped back across the grain there. And of course, Jared Allen had to play Mike Vick on the bootleg.
Play fake by Vick, under pressure, and slides away to dump it off to McCoy, who leads the team in rushing and also in receptions. For McCoy this season, that is catch number 75.
That was kind of bizarre, wasn't it? I mean, there were people getting tripped up and his own offensive lineman falling at Mike Vick's feet, and just looked like the whole thing was going to collapse, and somehow Mike kind of wiggled out of it and made something out of it.
2nd and 7. Vick, he escapes Allen, who gets blocked out of the play, but here he comes again from behind. Michael still gets it away, caught by Selleck, and that'll be a first down. Boy, Allen had a chance to get him the first time and then the second time as well. But Vick able to escape, pick up the first down, and that will take us to the second quarter. At the end of the first quarter in Philadelphia on this Tuesday night, the Eagles 7 and the Vikings nothing. And the special edition of Sunday Night Football will continue after these messages. Aerial coverage tonight brought to you by the film True Grit. Downtown Philly. Al Michaels, Cris Collinsworth, Andrea Kremer, Lincoln Financial Field. Mentioned at the start of the game, as you see Jeff Lurie, the owner of the Eagles since the mid-90s. Crowd late arriving, in fact about 48 hours late, but they filled this place in pretty nicely. Just a few patches of empty seats right now.
Jeffrey Lurie had to sign off on some big decisions this year, didn't he?
Yes, he did, and took a lot of chances, and a lot of them have worked out as McCoy starts the second quarter with a gain of close to 10 yards, very close to a first down inside the 44-yard line of Minnesota.
Jared Allen, just before the end of the quarter, you think it's frustrating to try and chase Mike Vick around? And he got one shot out, missed that one. Oh, here he comes again. He just can't catch up to him. Jared Allen's one of the leading sackers in the last 4 or 5 years, and just thought he had him dead to right. I thought he might knock the ball out of Mike Vick's hand, but he just ran right past him.
Ball at the 44-yard line. Vick slipping and gets back up and then throws, and the pass is incomplete. Selleck had it for the moment and then couldn't hang on. Hussein Abdullah, the safety, covering and helping to strip it. Second down.
You know, it's been so interesting to watch Mike Vick mature this year, and I think the biggest difference in him is that you can see the way he's processing information so fast. You know, Andy Reid will talk about it. We'll send him the game plan at 10 o'clock at night, and then by the next morning at 7 a.m. he has it memorized. And Mike Vick, by his own admission, never did that in Atlanta.
Well, it's the second time he slipped in 2 plays, falling down, and that time he couldn't recover. And McCoy has to pay the price. And there's no question. I mean, Vick was spectacular from time to time in Atlanta, but this is the best he's ever been. Little doubt, and everybody who's watched Vick through the years, running, throwing, and of course, as you say, Cris, the overall maturity and what he's brought to the team. And you know, you fall into things. It's serendipitous. The trade McNabb, Cobb's going to be the starter. He gets hurt. Here comes Vick, and he's going to the Pro Bowl. 3rd and 17. Under pressure again. Somehow he escapes, but not for long. It was Ray Edwards who got there first, and that'll make it 4th down.
Boy, they are not shy about bringing pressure here in this one so far. This is just, they're going to send the house, and we saw the Giants have great success with this for 3 quarters, and then of course it all fell apart in that 4th quarter a week ago. But they are getting their shots, and they're hanging in there if their offense can just get something going, and that's going to be the question tonight with Joe Webb, and it's really been the question for the Vikings all season.
Sav Rocca Edwards gets credit for that last sack. It's a bad kick, and it bounces back toward the Philadelphia end. It will be down to the 26-yard line. 12:45 left in the first half. 7-0 Philadelphia. Brett Favre concluding his 20th season. He says his last, inactive again tonight, second time in 3 weeks. Sustained a concussion last week on a sack as they were playing at the University of Minnesota Stadium because of the collapse of the Metrodome roof. Hit his head, was out. He told me yesterday he was out for about 10 seconds and inactive tonight. And will he play next week is the question, and wrap up his career in Detroit. They'll play there in 5 days. Drive begins here from the 26-yard line on first down as Webb fakes it to Peterson. That buys a lot of time, and the pass is incomplete, in and out of the hands of Sidney Rice. And more on Brett. Let's go to Andrea Kremer. Andrea.
Well, yeah, Favre told me he was knocked out cold when he suffered that concussion 8 days ago, and he called it the worst experience in his career. He did not take any concussion tests here in Philadelphia and has not been cleared to play. He also still has some numbness in his hand. And with only 4 days left until the final game of the season, Leslie Frazier told me they're running out of time for Favre to be ready.
And here is the hit. This is the one that did it last week. Bang, hits the head on the turf. He'd already missed the game before that with his shoulder. Here goes Peterson. So for Brett, I mean, you think about it, and I was talking to him yesterday at the hotel. I mean, he's got the concussion. He's got the shoulder. The hand has also swelled up. I said, remember when it was your ankle? He said, man, he said, I forgot all about
the glory days.
Right.
But, you know, it was interesting talking to Leslie Frazier about it, and he said that, you know, we were asking what's the difference in the team this year, and he said the quarterback play. I mean, you cannot go from 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions to 11 touchdowns, 19 interceptions, and not have a different team. Look at what the Eagles have done with Mike Vick this year.
3rd and 7. And that pass is way out of bounds. Bernard Berrien, the closest would-be receiver, and it's 4th down. And Webb right now has begun tonight's game 4 of his first 9 for 28 yards.
Yeah, but he didn't get any help at all because Sidney Rice had the ball right in his hands to start this drive, and sometimes you get one completion and 2, 3 follow, and you can't be dropping them when you get opportunities with a young quarterback like that.
Chris Kluwe, low end over end kick, and it will be down by the Vikings at the 23-yard line. 11:44 left in the opening half. Eagles 7, Vikes nothing. And all of them puppies.
Yeah, and they all said, boy, we loved Mike Vick growing up. He was our idol, and it's kind of funny now because you think of Mike Vick as being a relatively young guy, but he's not anymore, and those guys all sort of idolized him.
From the 25-yard line on first down. Vick buys time and then gets shoved out of bounds after a gain of 6 yards by Ben Lieber. And it'll be 2nd down and 4.
Does it seem like we've seen more plays with Mike Vick along the sideline trying to inch out everything he can, and those last-minute hits that are borderline, and was it late, was it not? And, of course, Andy Reid has been going crazy this season because he feels like that Peyton Manning and Tom Brady gets treated a little differently and protected a little more than does a running quarterback like Mike.
2 weeks ago, we saw the big hit in Dallas that resulted in a penalty. Vick throws, and that'll be caught. That's Jason Avant for a first down. Some of the hits he's taken so far tonight. Remember, Andy Reid said, hey, look, I think my guy is not being treated the same way other guys are. I'm sorry I brought it up, but he wasn't sorry.
No, he wasn't at all, and I think his message got across a little bit. Got a few calls last week anyway. But the formula has stayed the same. You know, he's not a big guy. He's 6 feet tall, and the more he moves around, the more shots you want to put on him.
From the 36, and McCoy gets swallowed up by Greenway. We were talking to Leslie Frazier the other night, and I said, give me your offensive, defensive, and special teams MVP. So on offense, Peterson. Special teams, Kluwe, the punter. Defense, Greenway. Kind of interesting in a team with a team that has Edwards and the 2 Williamses and Jared Allen and P.J. Henderson and Antoine Winfield, he singled out Greenway.
Yeah, and because Chad Greenway is leading this team in tackles and has been relentless, but he has been a good player for a long time, and they've been trying to get him some attention and just can't.
And Vic slings one, and it should have been intercepted by Lito Shepherd, the former Philadelphia Eagle. So Shepherd comes home, has a chance to pick off his old team, and of course the crowd now really gets into it.
Well, this is, you're going to see Deshaun Jackson try and arrow back out of this route, and Mike Vick thought he was going to break inside, and of course Lito Shepherd saw it all the way, and he had 4 chances to catch that ball. I don't know how Lito Shepherd doesn't come up with that one. You know, as the former Eagle, he would have loved it.
And the crowd let him have it too. 3rd down and 9 from the 38. And Vick deep downfield, and that one's going to be intercepted in the 10-yard line. And that is Hussein Abdullah, who stays back there with him. On the play, it was Deshaun Jackson, and Jackson had to spin around to try to find the ball, and Abdullah winds up with the interception. In effect, same as a punt. New series coming to NBC, written and produced by David E. Kelly. It's called Harry's Law, and it premieres Monday, the 17th of January, in the 10 o'clock Eastern and Pacific and 9 Central and Mountain Hour.
Ouch.
On NBC.
Not exactly Rocky. Kind of went the other way.
From the 14. Webb. Getting away from Parker again. Second time he's done that. And back to the 21-yard line. It turns out to be an interception. Had they punted, it was 3rd and 9. It would have been 48 yards. And so Vic lets it go, and Abdullah picks it off.
Yeah, the net result was fine, but this should have been a touchdown. Deshaun Jackson is the one safety comes up, gets a chance now. If this ball is thrown across the field, it's a walk-in touchdown. But Mike threw it basically behind Deshaun Jackson for an easy interception, and he's been struggling with some interceptions. 6 now in the last 5 games.
2nd and 3, and that's vintage Peterson busting tackles out to the 36 and a first down. Gain of 15.
You know, sometimes you let a team sort of hang around a little bit, and maybe they get something going. You can see right back over here is what Adrian Peterson ultimately wants to get to. It's a nice job by Cris DeGear, just sort of staying on that hole and finally driving Sims out of there.
Peterson missing last week's game. Bruised thigh. Suffered on a handoff from Tavares Jackson a couple of weeks ago. His knee was also an issue as well. Peterson's going to cut it back. And Peterson for a first down into Eagle territory. Samuel then helps to knock him down. The ball comes loose. The Eagles think they have it, and they do. So sure enough, Peterson's saying, no, I was down. I was down. And if nothing else, he wants Frazier to challenge it. Quentin Michael winds up with the football. Is he down is the question. Ooh. Ball's coming out. Right there as the knees touching.
I don't know.
Commercial break, and Frazier has enough time to think about a challenge. Adrian Peterson is pleading his case. Leslie Frazier still holds the challenge flag, but he's being told upstairs that this is going to be a fumble. Watch the way the ball gets kicked out. You've got Bernard Berry, and the wide receiver comes in. He's trying to block Coleman, and his foot knocks the ball out before Peterson is down. So Leslie Frazier, despite being implored to throw the flag by Peterson, said no, that would have been the last of his challenges. And it's Peterson's first fumble of the year. And Vick, just before he goes out of bounds, throws, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Jackson. Boy, can we put the kibosh on guys or what, Chris?
I'm telling you. Boy, Jared Allen, speaking of kibosh, he just cannot catch Mike Vick. He's had some good angles that would have led to sacks against any other quarterback, and it's driving him crazy. Tried to duck down inside that time of Clay Harbor, and that's the second time tonight. But Jared Allen thought he had a sack and just couldn't get there.
2nd and 10. Dump off to McCoy. And here comes Allen from behind. Again, trying to work the corner and then coming from behind to make the tackle. Jared Allen.
One of the problems I think LaShawn McCoy has is that he lets the ball get away from his body. Talk about it with Adrian Peterson. But you'll be able to see he slings that ball around, doesn't get it tucked in sometimes. And Jared Allen just missed getting a fumble on that one. I mean, just 1 second earlier, because I don't think McCoy ever saw him.
3rd and 10. And action up front. Eagles came up in a tight
Offense
formation.
number 79. 5-yard penalty is still a 3rd down.
Todd Harriman's the left guard.
Now we've got a really good matchup in this game on the outside. Jason Peters, a Pro Bowl offensive lineman. They paid big money for him, and they feel like it's money well spent against Jared Allen, who started off so slowly this season. Had, I think, 1 sack in the first 7 games and about 8 since then, and has really been coming on and probably thinks he should have had a couple more tonight.
3rd down 15 halfway through the 2nd quarter. Pressure again. But Vic is able to sling it away and has that one almost intercepted. Frank Walker dropped an easy one.
This is just unbelievable. I mean, these are 2 of the easiest interceptions. First Lito Shepherd, and now Frank Walker. There's just nothing to that. I mean, you throw that to a bunch of high school kids, are going to catch it every time. Wow.
Must be the left-handed rotation.
You know, those are tougher. Those are tougher.
Sav Rocca. Yard line. He got a flag down. This is Greg Camarillo, former Miami Dolphin. Ball loose again. Eagles think they have it, and remember, you still have a flag as the ball was being booted away. So number 1, who recovered it? Number 2, what's the penalty all about here?
Well, you see the official with his hat off, so somebody ran out of bounds. I think that arm was down.
The rule in the field is the runner was down by contact. There was a foul on the kicking team. An eligible member of the team out of bounds on a punt. It's a 5-yard penalty. Minnesota is elected to take that foul at the previous spot. 4th down.
But at least nobody tripped the guy. So Minnesota has the ball. Meanwhile, the season ends. This is the final game of the season, period. And Sunday night will be in Seattle. One of those classic winner in, loser out games. Football night starts at 7 Eastern time. Either the Rams or the Seahawks go to the playoffs. Winner will be the NFC West champion and the 4th seed in the playoffs, meaning the winner will host a game the following weekend. And to be determined is the
he's saying
the other team. Yeah, Leslie's saying I'm not sure I don't want the re-kick.
Let's go back down the other way.
Correction. Minnesota's elected to take it at the dead spot. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
All right, that'll take us to a commercial break. 7-0 Philadelphia. 48 hours ago, that's what it would have looked like during the game at Lincoln Financial Field. Snow is gone. I'll tell you, of all the crazy things I think I've seen, this could be the craziest. This year, the Vikings have had 2 games postponed. The Twins, who moved back outside to Target Field in downtown Minneapolis, had one game postponed at home, none on the road. That is unbelievable.
And I think the Twins outscored the Vikings on several of those games, too. We're creating a little snow for you tonight.
Virtual reality.
I'll tell you what, it's been like a virtual reality game so far here tonight, too. I mean, the Eagles offensively. Really, they got the one pass interference call that led to their touchdown. And other than that, the crowd's been a little sleepy and nobody's been sharp. Mike Vick probably should have 3 interceptions at this point. A very bizarre game.
Biorhythms are off or something. Webb hits Harvin and staying on his feet and getting the first down before he's tackled by Quentin Michael. Gain of 11 out to the 38-yard line.
Well, they come right back, and of course now they're going out there and they're working against Dimitri Patterson, who had such a tough game against the Giants, gave up 3 touchdowns in that one. People are going to stay away from Asante Samuel. Of course, last time Sidney Rice dropped this pass, so they fired him and put Percy Harvin out there, who made the catch.
From the 39, Harvin, that's another first down, and he gets tackled, and down he goes at the 45-yard line of the Eagles. A little upset with himself for not staying on his feet, and he could have picked up 10 or 15 more.
Might have scored. Colt Anderson at the end of this play is going to barely trip up Percy Harvin, but from our vantage point, it looked like he had a lot of open field in front of him. That saved a big one.
Yep. Only Coleman had a chance to get him with that angle. 44-yard line, first down. Draw to Peterson. Maybe a yard.
I tell you, Joe Webb has not been too bad tonight. This is a young man that came into this ball game and really had 31 career attempts, but you watch him stand there in the pocket, and we saw him earlier in the exhibition game, remember, against San Francisco, I think it was, earlier this year. Took off with one, and you kind of went, wow, that was something. But I didn't know if he could throw the ball or not, but he's hung in there pretty well here tonight.
Back in August. 2nd and 9. Flying saucer. Joe Webb talked about the fact he grew up in Birmingham and stayed at home. 6th round, that Brady pick, 199th overall. Great on his feet. A lot of people saying he's like Cam Newton of Auburn. First in NCAA history, 2,000 pass yards and 1,000 rush yards back-to-back. Drafted again as a wide receiver, but with Favre inactive and Tavares Jackson on injured reserve. Webb's your man. 3rd and 6. Blitz coming. Good job of protecting him up front. Berrien makes the catch and then knifes his way through 3 Eagles for a first down to the 32-yard line.
It's a nice call here by Darrell Bevel. End up with 7-man protection here, so even though you get some blitzes coming, they've got enough guys to pick it up and then go a little pick on the outside and run the underneath route. Keeping it pretty simple for Joe Webb. He does not look flustered. He does not look like he's out of place. He talked about in the Bears game how everything felt so fast to start that game, but then it started slowing down, and it looks like it's slowing down tonight too.
He's 8 of 13 for 68 yards. Throwing a lot of short stuff, as is the case here. Rogelio Hampson makes the tackle on Percy Harvin after a 3-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 7 with 3.5 left in the half.
Well, Sean McDermott's the type of defensive coordinator that wants to bring pressure. But when you see a game plan working like this one, where they're getting the ball out of there very quickly, it becomes frustrating to try and blitz it, because out of the shotgun, you're just not going to get there.
2nd down and 7. Under pressure, and this time Webb goes down. Off the play fake. Cole didn't buy it. He comes knifing through. Last year, his 2nd straight Pro Bowl, and that's an 11-yard sack for Cole.
Well, you're not going to win this battle very often right out here. You've got Jeff Dugan, a tight end, going against one of the premier pass rushers in the league, and Trent Cole. And I know that was a tough one for Webb, but there are times that you just got to be able to fire that one out of bounds. But for Jeff Dugan, not much of an effort there.
Cole gets his 10th sack of the season. 3rd and 16. It's juggled and it's incomplete. Sidney Rice was there. Pass on target, but Patterson met him as the ball got there, and it's 4th down.
I couldn't tell if that one got tipped by Quentin Michael just before it got there or not. I'll tell you, we've seen a lot of bouncing balls off the hands and chest of some Minnesota Vikings players, both offensively and defensively tonight.
They bring in Kluwe with a line of scrimmage to 38. Macklin back at the 10 on a 4th and 16. And it will be fair caught at the 10-yard line with 2:20 to play. For the Vikings, who began with such high hopes, who came so close to earning a trip to the Super Bowl, who opened the season in New Orleans with a loss, and it spun downhill from there, from the 10. Vick hit as he throws, and that one is almost interception.
I think that's going to be offensive pass interference.
Right. Antoine Winfield blitzed that time. Sanford almost came up with that pick. And here's Mike Carey with a little gleam in his eye.
Pass interference. Offense number 10. Pass the distance to the goal. Still 1st down.
Indeed. Well, you're an old wide receiver. You know offensive interference.
Hey, yeah, I used to do it a lot. That was a good play, though. Antoine Winfield, though, this blitz has really been giving the Philadelphia Eagles fits so far. There's Jackson coming right down the middle of the field on you there. He sees, oh yeah, he grabs the back of Jamarcus Sanford's jersey. Good call.
1st and 15. McCoy, nice run. Lieber stops him at the 15-yard line, and that's going to take us down to the 2-minute warning with Philadelphia 3 timeouts when we come back, and it will be 2nd down and 5. 7-0 Philadelphia. Halftime, the Toyota halftime show coming up. You didn't think we'd let the guys have a night off. We brought Tony and Rodney into town. Bob Costas has been here with us, marooned in Philadelphia over the last few days. We've had a good time, and the guys will take a look at the Sunday games, get you caught up on other things. NFL Toyota halftime show coming up. Not bad tonight. Temperature around the freezing mark, but clear and not very windy. 2 minutes to go in the half. 2nd down and 5 for Philadelphia. Eagles on top 7-0. And Vick will get the 1st down on a pass to Macklin, who stays inbounds. Frank Walker covering on the play. Eagles with all of their timeouts.
Yeah, the Eagles made a little adjustment and finally picked up that blitz by Antoine Winfield.
Vick flush down. Trying to get that 1st down before he steps out of bounds. LaTroy Guion is the man who forced him out, and he steps out at the 31-yard line, 3 yards shy of the 1st.
We talked about how much of a problem Antoine Winfield has been. This time they bring the tight end, Brent Selleck, over to that side and just get a little hit on him, because I'm sure Mike Vick went to the sideline and said, wait a minute now, this same guy, number 26, keeps hitting me from both sides of the field. Marty Morningweg makes the adjustment and picks it up.
Vikings showing blitz, and they come in from the corner again. And Selleck makes the catch at midfield and is spun down at the 46-yard line. And the Eagles coming up there trying to save all of their timeouts. 23-yard gain.
Well, LaShawn McCoy, another big blitz pickup that time on E.J. Henderson. He may not be a Pro Bowler, but he is Pro Bowl worthy. He does the whole package at running back.
A minute left. And again, this is Selleck, and he gets taken down by Chad Greenway. And Mike Vick says we'll take our first timeout right here with 55 seconds remaining. This special edition of Sunday Night Football on a Tuesday is being brought to you by Subway Restaurants. Start the year right at Subway. Subway Eat Fresh. By Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. By BMW, the ultimate driving machine. By The Dilemma, in theaters January 14th. Winter Olympics.
Pretty cool sport right there. Sean McCoy is going to end up picking up the blitz right in the middle. It gives Mike Vick a chance. I mean, you know, as an offensive team, if you get a blitz like that picked up, there should be somebody running wide open, and Vick just sort of casually found it. And that's what's been the difference really for him this season, the ability to find the open guy versus the blitz.
And second and short from the 39-yard line. Look out. Vick loses the ball. That's Winfield again. He picks it up, and Winfield is going to race all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. And this place is silent.
Well, that time they released Brent Selleck down the field, did not block him, and the blitz that has been the nightmare continues. It's amazing. The same play now, the same blitz has been getting them time after time. See Selleck release up the field. Instead of going for Vick, they go for the ball. And I tell you, this is deserved by the Minnesota Vikings. They have been hanging in there. The Eagles have been sleepy. This is a just result for halftime.
Ryan Longwell to try to tie the game. Well, for Winfield, it doesn't get any better for a defensive player. You get a sack, you get a forced fumble, you get a fumble recovery, and you get a touchdown.
Well, it has been almost the exact same blitz time after time after time. And the more action they presented inside, they're going to take Jared Allen and cram him down inside, which picks off Jason Peters and creates that short edge there for Antoine Winfield. And there you go. An offense not able to do much, and you end up scoring on the defensive side. It's sort of like that Pittsburgh-Baltimore game we saw earlier this year. It ended up Troy Polamalu having to make the play. Watch him come right down inside there, which draws both Peters and Harriman, and it creates the short corner there for Antoine Winfield to come in and make the play.
2 sacks tonight for Winfield. Had one on the first series of the game. 12th year in the league. Known as a phenomenal tackler through the years. Textbook. And then tonight showing what he can do blitzing, showing a little speed at the end as well.
Yeah.
Not that anybody was going to catch him.
No, and unless it was Mike Vick, if he'd gotten up off the ground. But, you know, Cedric Griffin being out, the other cornerback, has really hurt this defense. Those two guys were quite a bookend for a while.
Kickoff fielded at the goal line by Macklin. And Macklin will get taken down at the 25-yard line by Asher Allen. Well, the Minnesota Vikings, I mean, this has been some odyssey. 2 weeks ago, the roof collapses, so they have to play a game in Detroit. Then they have to play a game at home, but they can't play inside. They got to go outside to Minnesota. That leads to a Favre concussion. Then they're here all week. They're here so long that Ed Rendell's going to send a tax bill to these guys pretty soon.
There you go. There's your shot. But it was
we're going to get one too.
Yeah, this is a football team, though, that defensively, that has not been the issue this year. The issue has been what's happened on the offensive side. Just have not produced the results they did a season ago.
From the 23, here's Vick. And that's caught for a very short gain. The catch is made there by Macklin, and now Philadelphia is going to take a timeout. One thing about the Vikings compared to last year when they were routing teams and had a great season, they've been playing from behind almost all season. You can see the 7th most snaps without a lead in the NFL. That was last year, and this year the 2nd fewest without a lead. And that's with a lead, not without a lead. So the bottom line here is that they have not only been losing, but they've been behind and trying to come from behind. And tonight, well, at least for the moment, they come from behind to tie the game. 2nd and 5. And Vick throws and almost lost a great one-handed grab, but it's incomplete. Intended for Jason Avant.
Well, and one thing you don't want to do with this Vikings team is put them in a position where they can now start to rush the quarterback a little bit. Remember, they led the NFL with 48 sacks last year. They've dropped all the way to 29th in the league this year, but it's mostly because of the stats you just showed. They haven't had a lead. They haven't had an opportunity to come get the quarterback. But believe me, this is a team that if they can hang in there, they're going to give Mike Vick some problems.
3rd and 5. Pass is incomplete, and that will draw a flag, however. Taking 4 seconds off the clock, going down to 16. That's Asher Allen, who will be flagged for interference.
Asher Allen with a little hook job there.
Before the pass, holding, defense number 21, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
In effect, the same thing.
Yeah, well, that was the same thing that got the other drive started. You're going to see just about the time Deshaun Jackson makes this break. A little grab, a little tug, and well beyond 5 yards. One thing you try and do with Mike Vick is get in the passing lane. He's only 6 feet tall, and it's one of the reasons he takes such a deep drop so that he can see around and through those defensive linemen who love getting their hands up against him.
Here come the Vikes again. Here comes Winfield again. He just misses another sack. Pass is caught, and that's Allen who rides Jackson out of bounds, but they are still not in field goal range with 9 seconds.
Well, it has just been the same formula, and it almost worked again on this one. Here he comes off the edge again, and you see Ray Edwards taking that hard inside move, which shortens that corner a little bit. There he goes way down inside, and that just gives Winfield a free run, and probably anybody but Mike Vick, he has another sack.
If they can get about 10 yards here and take a timeout or get out of bounds, they'll set Akers up for about a 55, 56-yard field goal. And he's capable. And the pass is caught by Avant. And Avant's going to get out of bounds with 3 seconds. So at least they are able to bring, if they so choose, Akers out for a last-minute field goal attempt. That's the question right now, and Akers is now walking out onto the field.
Well, David Akers 1 for 2 from 50-plus yards this year, 15 for 31 in his career.
This one is going to be 54 yards.
Named to the Pro Bowl today, right?
Yep. And Eagles since '98 before Reed. And that kick is no good. Short. On target, but short. And that takes us to the half. With the score 7-7 in Philadelphia. Coming up next, the Toyota halftime show. After these messages from your local NBC station. So we go to the third quarter. Minnesota 7. Philadelphia 7. Keep your head in the game with NFL Mobile, courtesy of Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the National Football League. Al Michaels, Cris Collinsworth, and Andrea Kremer in Philadelphia after a 48-hour delay. Sunday night's game postponed to Tuesday night. Vikings will finally go home after the game. Philadelphia stays here. They'll meet Dallas on Sunday to wrap up the regular season. And Minnesota gets the kick with Lorenzo Booker, recently signed, up to the 26-yard line. Vikings start there, and we check in with Andrea Kremer. Andrea.
Well, Al, walking off the field with Andy Reid at halftime, Michael Vick had a noticeable limp right in front of us. I asked Reid about all the hits Vick is taking, as well as the trouble with the blitzes from Antoine Winfield. Reid was adamant we have to do a better job and slide our protections. Then I asked Leslie Frazier, the former defensive back, about all those dropped interceptions. He said it's driving me flat out crazy. At that point, defensive back Frank Walker went right in front of us, and Frazier yelled, "Come on, you got to catch those balls."
Thank you, Andrea. Yeah, it would drive Leslie, a former defensive back, particularly crazy. And here is Webb, and he's going to go deep on first down, and the flag is thrown. Harvin is there, and Patterson was draped all over him, and Harvin will get the call. So Minnesota takes a page out of Philadelphia's book. That's the way Philadelphia loves to open a game. And Minnesota with a
Pass
bomb.
interference. Defense number 23 is declined. Play results in a first down.
Might as well decline it because the catch was made. First down.
The Vikings are playing more like the Eagles than the Eagles are. And we talked about all the weapons. Here's Percy Harvin on the outside working against Dimitri Patterson. You know that's going to be the matchup they're going to try and get time after time. And Joe Webb underthrowing earlier in the game. That was a tremendous throw.
46-yard gain. Ball at the 28. Webb, good play fake. Shanko wide open, and it will be first and goal. Vasant Shanko taking it to the 5-yard line.
Well, I'm not so sure that Jamar Chaney wasn't supposed to be back underneath this one here. He kind of gets fooled by the play fake. He's a young linebacker, and then Shanko goes in right behind him. But this Joe Webb just looks so comfortable, and maybe it's because this crowd, it sort of feels like a preseason game out here. A lot of them still at the concession stand, and the Vikings about to go score on it.
From the 5, first and goal. AP. Stop for no gain. Remember, Frazier started the game. They won the toss. You got a flag here, too. They won the toss. They deferred, giving them the ball here in the second half. Flag thrown on the outside where Harvin was locked up with Patterson. Mike Harry conferencing.
After the ball was dead, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 23. After distance to the goal, automatic. First down.
Well, that's 2 calls now on Patterson here in the half. First one was declined. This one accepted.
And a couple of tough weeks here for Dimitri Patterson. And all you can see, it was Patterson who kind of threw the punch at the tail end. And give Percy Harvin credit. That was a good block. He stayed after him the whole time. And you know Patterson's frustrated already after giving up 3 touchdowns last week. Sometimes you can just keep irritating those guys and get a cheap one.
First and goal. Here's Adrian Peterson again. And ball comes loose, but after the whistle had sounded. Play was whistle dead. Got the ball to about the 2-yard line. It'll be second down and goal.
Adrian Peterson sometimes, and I love watching him play, but you get down on the goal line, you cannot be caught in a vertical position. I mean, you have to learn how to get over top of the ball, get those shoulder pads down, and whatever happens, let them drive you into the ground. But defensively in the NFL, they want to hold you up, and especially him, and start stripping at that football. They're going to keep pounding it right at him.
Second and goal. Shanko flexed to the right. Instead, it's going to be a fade, and it's Rice in bounds for the touchdown. Over Asante Samuel. You have Sidney Rice at 6'4", and as good as Samuel is, he's 5'10". So they throw the fade. Reed is checking to make sure his feet came in and that there's no challenge.
It's just a great throw. Joe Webb, here you've got your young quarterback. Why not? They just take a shot at it. That ball came a little squirmy there at the very tail end of it. Got to maintain control all the way to the ground.
Well, Reed passed on 2 opportunities last week against the Giants, and he might have won both of them. And Andy, who challenges fewer times than any coach who's been around for a while in the league, this time he's going to throw the flag. Missed 2 opportunities last week in the game at the Meadowlands, which of course they eventually won anyway. And Mike Carey now is going to come over, and Andy's going to contend that Rice, since the ball was moving, did not have possession.
The rule of the field is a catch for a score. It's being challenged by Philadelphia. Timeout.
So that was a second and goal play. It'll either be a touchdown or it'll be third and goal when we come back. Andy's career record is not good. I think he's going to lose this one too. It's our feeling that the ruling on the field can't be overturned, even though the ball is moving. Here's the key. Feet clearly both down. The ball is moving, but does he maintain control of the football even though the ball is moving? We think yes, or I think yes. You're 50-50.
You know, I mean, it's moving and touching the ground at the same time. Boy.
But the ruling on the field is a touchdown. I don't see where they see anything to overturn this.
Well, we saw Visante Shanko earlier in Green Bay this year, and one that was.
Here's that Shanko play we're talking about. This happened on a Sunday night, Minnesota Green Bay.
And that was ruled incomplete.
Yeah.
So
that was ruled. That actual play in Green Bay was ruled as a touchdown on the field, and then it was overturned. And I think an apology, an unofficial apology, followed to the Vikings.
Yeah, and that one should have been a catch. I mean, let's.
Right.
This one is interesting. I mean, it really is, because there is movement, and he's going to the ground in the process of the catch. So you have to maintain complete control, and it doesn't really matter whether it touches the ground. Did you have control of it?
Here's Mike Carey.
After review, when the receiver went to the ground, he did not demonstrate complete control. Therefore, it's an incomplete pass. Third down and goal on the 2-yard line in the middle of the field. The clock is correct. Philadelphia is not charged with a team timeout.
So they do indeed overturn it, and that will make it third down and goal.
Well, it's just, see, it doesn't really matter if it hits the ground. It is, you're going to the ground in the process of that catch, and I think that slide right there was the determining factor. It was not 100% control.
So a long review. Meanwhile, Philadelphia has to scramble to get their right defensive alignment, their personnel group out on the field. And we're ready for play now on third down and goal from the 2-yard line. Webb off the fake. In trouble. And gets sacked and thrown out of bounds at the 13-yard line. So the challenge pays off hugely. Jaquay Parker will get credit for that sack.
Oh, you had Adrian Peterson wide open right in front of him. I don't know. You'll see Peterson sneak out here. And Joe Webb's going to have him just completely wide open right there. There's nobody around. Wow. I don't know. Maybe he thought Jaquay Parker was just in the way.
Right.
At the very least, throw it away and make it an easier field goal.
Quinn Michael moving toward the middle of the field. Meanwhile, you've got this field goal attempt for a long ball from 30 yards, and that is good. But the Eagles wind up saving 4 points. Minnesota has the lead, 10-7. Ready for action shortly. Antoine Winfield on the bench. Of course, he's been the defensive star tonight. 2 sacks and the touchdown.
You know what's so interesting about this, and here's the blitz and the action that has been causing Mike Vick all kinds of problems tonight with Winfield coming off the edge. But this is a Philadelphia Eagle blitz. This is the Jim Johnson blitz that he used to wear people out with. And Leslie Frazier learned this one from Jim Johnson. And so it's coming back to haunt Philadelphia here tonight. And it's unusual that a blitz that sort of originated from here can't be solved.
Well, Leslie worked under Jim Johnson for Andy Reid. It was Reid who brought Frazier into the NFL. And this is Owen Schmidt, the Philadelphia fullback, who takes the short kick to the 30-yard line. The 2001 Eagles, this would have been Andy's 3rd year, and there was Leslie Frazier. Childress, as you have an injured Eagle here, and he winds up with Trevor Laws down on the turf. He wound up in Minnesota as the defensive coordinator when Mike Tomlin, who'd been the defensive coordinator, gets the head job in Pittsburgh. But Laws is hurt on the run back as the Eagles are prepared to have the football for the first time in the second half.
Now they've done what they can do to make these kicks safer, but boy, it is a dangerous play to have everybody running at each other full speed.
There is no at the 20-yard line. Therefore, it's their ball, 1st and 10.
All right, so that's Mike Carey cleaning up what happened at the end of the kickoff. Meanwhile, here's Laws. Looks like he sustained a shoulder injury here. You'll see him with the block on Henderson, and down he goes. And we went to commercial with him on the turf. Walked him over to the sideline, and play resumes now on a 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Vick out of the gun. Good protection this time. Catch made by Macklin. Let's update the playoff picture here, because this game is of big significance to Philadelphia, even though they've already won the division. Atlanta right now 12-3. They'd be the 1 seed. They play Carolina. They can cement that. Chicago or Philadelphia could wind up as the 2nd seed. Chicago has the tiebreak right now because they beat Philly head-to-head. And then St. Louis at the moment has the lead, but it all depends on them knocking off Seattle or the other way around as to who goes to the playoffs in the West. Vick again. And Vick is taken down here by Sanford. One thing about a Philadelphia loss tonight, Chris, if they do lose, if Minnesota holds on, then Chicago has the bye.
Well, you just have to give the Vikings credit for what they've been able to do with this pass rush tonight. Again, they send Winfield off the edge. Again, Vick is flushed out, but he has not been able to get anything going down the field. And if anything, I don't know if you notice or not, but it looks like Mike's losing a little steam here. He doesn't look like the guy we saw last week against the Giants. I think some of these hits are taking their toll.
3rd down and 8. And that's tipped, and that one is almost intercepted on the deflection. Pass intended for Jackson. Asher Allen tipped it, and Greenway almost came up with the pick.
Well, Deshaun Jackson's done a lot of great things, but this is a poor route on this one. He comes up, he ends up at the top of his route and sits there, and that gives Asher Allen a chance to come right through him. All you have to do if you're Deshaun Jackson is take a step or two back, and that would have been a completion. And once again, the Eagles fail on the offensive side.
Sav Rocca's punt. Camarillo collects it at the 25 and gets taken down at the 25-yard line by Eldra Buckley. Let's check in with Andrea.
Well, guys, talking about the Vikings' reaction to the postponement of the game, the overriding issue of public safety notwithstanding, 2 high-ranking Vikings officials told me the feeling in their organization is that the Eagles wanted the game postponed since the conditions were the great equalizer. Eagles owner Jeff Lurie told me nonsense. If anything, a hobbling Adrian Peterson benefited from 2 extra days of rest. But Al, Vikings defensive lineman Pat Williams told me he thought the Eagles simply did not want Michael Vick to play in the snow.
Well, they've been talking about that for 2 days here. Meanwhile, there's Peterson on dry land getting 16 yards tackled by Coleman. It would have been fascinating, of course, to see what Vick would have done in the snow. How do you think he would have done, Chris?
I think Mike Vick usually is going to have the advantage when pass rushers can't get there, which is what would have happened the other night. There's no way that big defensive lineman could have been able to make this move. But again, Adrian Peterson, this is almost a touchdown. Coleman just saved that one. There was nobody on the rest of the field. That would have been 6.
From the 43-yard line, Peterson again. About 8 yards, tackled by the rookie Coleman, setting up 2nd and short.
And Kirk Coleman's doing a nice job here tonight because he has saved a few plays. It was Colt Anderson earlier that saved one, but he's filling in for Nate Allen, another rookie, a 2nd-round draft pick, and getting a shot. Kirk Coleman, not a tremendous athlete, not the fastest guy on the field, but understands the game and has certainly been making his fair share of plays here tonight.
Looks like his fullback, Tahi, is shaken up on the play there. He is helping to lead the way, but they work on Tahi now before a 2nd down and 1. In January, I'm told the world's next superhero is not in theaters. The series premiere of The Cape comes to television Sunday, January the 9th, right here on NBC.
I kept looking in those theaters, never could find them.
Turn on your tube on the 9th of January. Tahi's okay. They took him off for he's walked off under his own power, and you've got Peterson now picking up a first down on a 2nd and 1. That Philly defense talking about those 2 7th-rounders, Jamar Chaney on the right and Kurt Coleman, 220th and 244th overall picks. Not bad.
Yeah, they've done a nice job, and really they have to sort of be the brains of the operation. So Sean McDermott has really simplified this game plan tonight, and he also looks like Jose Leo Hansen may be in for Dimitri Patterson now on regular down and distance.
He is at the moment 1st and 10. And slings it out to Peterson. Got some room to run. Enough to pick up a first down to the 34-yard line. Goes Adrian Peterson. Tackled there by Coleman. And AP tonight closing in on 100 yards. He's carried the ball a total of 13 times for 82 yards.
And I think Kurt Coleman's going to say, you guys aren't paying me enough to tackle Adrian Peterson in an open field all night. There have been 3 or 4 opportunities for him to really bust one. There's Dimitri Patterson. I think he's just benched. I don't see him looking at him for an injury or anything.
Meanwhile, you've got Percy Harvin lined up as the running back here. The play fake, Webb, buying time, and Webb throws, and that'll be caught at the 20-yard line, and Rice takes a shot.
That's a helmet to helmet.
And that was, you could hear it. You hear it all throughout the stadium with Asante Samuel, and he's shaken as well. And a flag, of course, comes in, and a fine will follow.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 22. Contact on a defensive receiver when the dead ball spot 15 yards. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic. First down.
And this is the second one of these that Asante Samuel has had. He had one in the Giants game as well. And one of the major reasons why the league is trying to outlaw these, Asante Samuel was hurt as badly as Sidney Rice was. I mean, this is just, there's just no place in the game right now. And I know that Sidney Rice ducked his head, but you can see launching with the helmet, a clear foul, and it's going to be a fine.
Now, Samuel took his helmet off, but it's no foul. He started to walk back into the secondary, and then Mike Carey came over and he said, no. He said, I'm not going to call a foul on you. You took your helmet off because you're hurt. So you have to go out for at least one play. So he's out. Trevard Lindley now comes in his spot.
2 backup corners in the game now. See if they take their shot.
1st and goal. And action up front. It might be 1st and goal halfway to the goal line now. Mike Patterson coming across.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 51 jumped into the neutral zone, causing immediate reaction by the offense. Half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
Chaney came, and then Patterson came with him. And the ball will be spotted inside the 5-yard line. 1st and goal.
They say Jamar Chaney, but I saw Mike Patterson as the one that jumped right there. I'd be surprised if it were something other than that. Now we've got a story developing here. This is the team that many now think that the Philadelphia Eagles could win the Super Bowl, and they're getting handled at home.
I'll say. 1st and goal. And now you got a swing pass to Harvin, and he gets tripped up at the 9-yard line. That's Kurt Coleman. Seen a lot of action on this series. The rookie makes the tackle. That's a loss of 5 yards. 2nd down and goal.
If Kurt Coleman weren't on the field tonight, this score might be about 30-0 right now. Tell you what, he's taken some of the great athletes in the National Football League, and Adrian Peterson and Percy Harvin, and just making play after play.
Eagles have the worst red zone defense in the league, but they stiffened the last time. Try to do it again. Samuel's back in the game. 2nd down and goal. Webb, Chase, still alive, and Webb will thread his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. And Webb showing a lot of what he did in college, rolling out, buying time, improvising, and with his legs has put Minnesota out in front 16-7 going on 17.
Unbelievable. You can see Brett Favre laughing on the outside, but when you watch Joe Webb play, you go, oh, he's pretty fast. I went back and looked it up. 4.45 was his time coming out of college. You know what Mike Vick's was? 4.45.
Longwell for the point after to make it a 10-point game. 7:03 remaining in the third quarter, and the Vikings stunningly are up by 10.
And just missing open field opportunities. That's the second time tonight. Jaquay Parker has completely missed. It was a good job by Collinsworth coming back in there. But the story tonight, is the Philadelphia Eagles look awful. I mean, you have to start there. This is as poorly as I've seen them play. And really, when you go back to the New York Giants game a week ago, they now have basically played one good quarter, the fourth quarter against the Giants, in their last 7 quarters.
Yeah, that's a real good point. They had a spectacular comeback the week before that. They hung on to beat Dallas in a tight one by 3. They've won 3 straight. They've won 6 out of 7, but look like anything but that team tonight.
You know, everybody was talking about how much they like Joe Webb and how most rookies, you know, especially third-string quarterbacks, kind of sit back in the corner and don't do anything. They say Joe Webb's messing with everybody. They treat him like his little brother out there, and they were so excited that he got his opportunity, and look what he's doing with it.
The 13-yard line, Chad Hall will bring it back up to the 26-yard line. So we start the game. Cris says, well, what about Webb? We'll call him Mike Ultralight. So far, take a look at that. Passing yards, he's got him by 31. Rushing yards, Vic has him by 4. And Webb with that one rushing TD. Vic has thrown a touchdown pass, but right now it is Webb and the Vikings on top 17-7.
Wow. You know, we talk about, is the league changing now? The Tim Tebow's and the Mike Vicks, Cam Newton may be coming out. Are we seeing a new era in the league?
From the 26, Vic will have to stage another comeback, and that's way high, and there's a flag down.
Holding, offense number 77. 10-yard penalty is still first down.
Mike McGlynn. Deshaun Jackson tonight. They've thrown to him, Mike has, Vic, 8 times, 1 completion.
Well, and the Vikings coming into this game with so many backup players in the secondary. I'm sure that one of the great benefits the Eagles thought coming in, without the snow, without the blizzard, we're going to tear up the secondary. Hasn't happened yet.
1st and 20. And that's Jackson. So the minute you mentioned 1 out of 8, he becomes 2 out of 9. Makes the catch up at the 27-yard line.
Well, you end up in a 1st and very long, so Asher Allen going to give him a lot of room here. That's really not a bad play by Asher Allen. You're talking about one of the speediest receivers in all the NFL. You're sitting there with a comfortable lead right now. You don't want to see the one-play magic that we've seen out of the Eagles this year.
2nd and 9. And Vic flushed out again. Steps out of bounds at the 34-yard line. He's 2 yards shy of a first down. 3rd and 2 coming.
Well, Jared Allen again coming off this edge. Mike Vick's almost looking at him as he's coming around the corner. He's taking a deep drop, trying to get Allen to come way up the field, and then he's stopping and stepping up, and that's been a big part of this offense. The harder Allen comes around that edge, the more it's allowing Mike Vick to step up and through.
Eagles, the #1 offense in the league coming into the game, and they convert on 3rd and short. This is McCoy taking the ball out to the 40-yard line, first down.
Well, this play is just so hard to defend because basically you're not blocking somebody, so you can block everybody else with extra men. It's just an option coming straight down the line. They're not going to block Jared Allen at all. Let him go. Just option him. There you go. Pick it up. And LaShawn McCoy, late in games, has made so many big plays this season. And right now they're kind of picking a little bit on Jared Allen. Whatever he wants to do, they're kind of going the opposite.
Vic in the pocket. Selleck. He's tackled by Asher Allen. Out at the 47-yard line. That'll make it 2nd down and 4.
Well, they did get some pressure. They bring everybody up inside here. Antoine Winfield came around, and one of the offensive linemen just peeled off at the last second and picked him up. At least the Eagles starting to get a little bit of momentum going on their side, because this is going to be the test for them. Can they put together long drives when they cannot get the big plays they're used to?
On 2nd and 4, Vick to Macklin. Spins away from a tackle, turns it into a nice gain, and moves the chains as well. It's a 1st down, broke away from Antoine Winfield.
Well, just another option on the play here. That time they let Jared Allen go around the edge and throw the screen off of it. But it is Macklin on the outside, but Jason Avant, who had the big block on the punt return a week ago, who kind of sprung him free. There's Avant right on the inside. And that's a pretty good-looking block right there. Stayed on Antoine Winfield just long enough.
Avant's block on Diassi was so good he gave himself a concussion. Here is McCoy taking it to the 36-yard line. Tackled there by Henderson, and we're under 4 minutes now to play in the 3rd quarter. Look at the current drive. 6 plays, 38 yards. And Cris talking about the fact so explosive, but can they put together that long drive against this Minnesota defense?
Well, and do it without a major mistake. I mean, remember, Mike Vick has already hit the Minnesota Vikings in the hands 4 different times. They've only caught 1, which is probably the only reason the Eagles are in this game right now.
2nd down and 7. Here's Vick staying in bounds and staying in bounds long enough to pick up the 1st down. He gets to the 28-yard line, 1st and 10.
So many opportunities tonight for the Minnesota Vikings to effectively sort of put this thing away. Lito Shepherd early had one, could not be any easier. Frank Walker had one, could not be any easier. There was a foul called on Jamarcus Sanford there. Don't forget Adrian Peterson had the fumble after a long run. The Eagles very fortunate to still be in this one.
And Vick has that one knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Well, the Eagles are used to coming from behind. They've been trailing a lot in the 4th quarter of late. Of course, last week you all know what happened at the Meadowlands. Before that, the Thursday nighter against Houston and Dallas, they were down. They were down in Chicago as well, but lost that game, and that really may come back to bite them.
Well, the one thing that's been a little surprising for me tonight is that the Vikings have allowed Mike Vick to scramble left. Most teams try to box him in. He's not nearly as dangerous throwing the ball going to his right as he is when he can escape left.
Ray Edwards knocked down that last pass. Now he's going to go to his right. He's going to avoid a sack again. He's going to take off. And he's going to lose the football. A scramble for it at the 23-yard line. Mike Carey trying to move everybody away from the scene.
I thought it was definitely a fumble.
Vick had lost only 1 of 9 fumbles coming into the game, and now he's lost 2 tonight.
Wow.
Minnesota with the ball. So Vick almost gets sacked, takes off through the middle, and Jared Allen comes up with the fumble recovery. Vikes lead by 10 and have the ball. Broad Street, Philadelphia, back to the link we come after the fumble, and this is Adrian Peterson for a gain of 7. Back to the fumble, which was created by Kevin Williams and then recovered by Jared Allen.
I'll tell you, it was some play by Kevin Williams to see Mike Vick coming at him. He had dropped out on a zone blitz, and to just watch him break down. I mean, here's a 300-pound guy with an open field tackle and strip of Mike Vick as the ball just continues to bounce away from the Philadelphia Eagles. An incredibly sloppy performance by them tonight.
2nd and 3. Peterson taken down. Loss of a couple at the 26-yard line by Darryl Tapp. There's Vic, 1 pick tonight, 2 fumbles, so they've turned the ball over 3 times. You go through his first half dozen games, he had no interceptions, 2 fumbles, and remember, he'd only lost 1 of 9 fumbles coming into the game, and tonight he's lost a pair.
Yeah, and remember, he's also in the MVP hunt with Tom Brady, and Brady had a great game, and Mike Vick is struggling.
3rd and 6. Toby Gerhart lines up in the backfield, the Stanford rookie. He stays in the block and does a good job, and Webb moving out to his right. Webb tries to stiff arm a man. There's a flag, and you got a face mask there. Webb going right into Cheney's grill.
It looked like Joe Webb actually was the guy that got the face mask.
Personal foul, face mask, offense number 14, 15 yards from the previous spot, still 3rd down.
Yep, one thing for a stiff arm, another thing if you grab the medal.
Yeah, I always thought that was kind of a stupid rule anyway. The offensive player is allowed to put his hand into the face mask and do a stiff arm. You can see because he kind of got it hooked and just sort of threw him down. And I can't tell who it is that
Jeff Owens, the defensive tackle, is the injured Philadelphia Eagle. Owens rotating in, the rookie out of Georgia, along the defensive front, looking at his left knee or leg. And Leslie Frazier talking about him and talking about right now they're going to bring the card out for the rookie Owens. See what happens here. There he is. Foot gets caught in the turf. Just got activated this week as well. Another one of their 7th round picks. Talking about Cheney and Coleman, and they also got Owens in that final round.
Sometimes those big guys trying to make a quick change of direction, it happens. This is pretty stunning tonight. I mean, remember, this is a 2-touchdown favorite. Philadelphia Eagles got the fast turf that without the snowstorm. But you almost could have seen this one coming. You know, they end up with a huge win coming from behind. One of the most exciting games of the year last week against the New York Giants. Come back. You have the letdown of not playing on Sunday.
If you saw this coming, I want to know who you like in the 5th at Santa Anita tomorrow. Are you kidding?
I mean, just emotionally. Well, it's like the Derby. I can always tell you how that one won whenever they end up winning at the end of the day. But, you know, sometimes football teams, and you have to remember, and I was talking to Marty Morningweg, the offensive coordinator. He said, our guys are so young, I'm surprised that we don't see up and down results like what we saw against the Giants more often, because they can be so emotional, and then sometimes they're not into it, and you just got to keep them focused.
Well, maybe he's seeing it tonight. He's seeing what he doesn't want to see, and this is, as we say, a very big game because it's going to cost them a chance to get a bye in the playoffs. And you know what that means? It means you don't get a week off. It means you play one game at home and then you go on the road. And the road to the Super Bowl is a lot tougher. 3rd and 19 now. They give the ball to Gerhart to buy some breathing room, and he gets it out to the 20-yard line, and the Vikings will punt in the final minute of the 3rd quarter.
You know, Al, the other team that should be paying attention to this one is the New York Giants, because all of a sudden now, and here's Deshaun Jackson going to come out, if the Eagles lose this game, and I'm not saying the Bears would pull any players or not, but they're certainly going to be less motivated once they clinch that number 2 seed.
Yeah, but the Bears also have a slight chance for the number 1 seed as well. A lot depends on Atlanta losing to Carolina. Not likely, but who knows in the NFL.
Tom Coughlin would be proud of that kid.
Oh, yeah. Right, a week late, out of bounds. The Eagles offense. Let's take a look at some of the facts and figures here. 29 points per game, 14 pass plays of 40 or more yards, most in the league. 11 TDs of 40 or more from scrimmage. Key guys, and those guys have been basically shut down tonight. They've run 48 plays for 218 yards, so they've averaged 4.5 yards per play, rushing and passing compositely. Minnesota's averaging 5.9 yards per play.
But remember this, they were down, 31-10 with about 7.5 minutes to go last week and won.
And they start this drive with a short pass to Selleck. He takes it to the 45. That'll make it 2nd and 2, and they'll reverse ends and start the 4th quarter in Philadelphia. End of 3. The Minnesota Vikings 17. The Philadelphia Eagles 7. And the special edition of Sunday Night Football continues after these messages. Aerial coverage from Philadelphia tonight brought to you by the film True Grit. 4th quarter, Lincoln Financial Field. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Andrea Kremer. Minnesota up by 10, and on 2nd down and 2, Vic gets planted as he throws, and the pass intended for Selleck is incomplete, and Mike gets planted that time by Jimmy Kennedy, one-time #1 pick of the Rams 8 years ago.
Jimmy Kennedy's going to end up coming right up the middle right here. And here's a guy that's kind of been in and out of the lineup, in and out of favor, but well, he did a great job on that one, sliding the head past Mike Vick, not getting the personal foul, not getting the helmet to helmet anymore. Hitting a quarterback's about the hardest thing there is to do in the league.
3rd down and 2 from the 45. And Vick finding Selleck, going on number 87 a lot tonight. Greenway makes the tackle, and that will be a 1st down on Selleck's 7th catch of the game.
Well, to me, it's just interesting to watch Mike Vick and the way that he's grown. That was one of those, not to get too technical, but Tampa 2s. Knew exactly where the hole was as soon as the middle linebacker dropped out of there, looked it down there, picked up the 1st down.
McCoy. Tampa 2, a good thing to bring up on a night when Tony Dungy is in the house.
There you go. Absolutely, yeah.
Always got to tie something in.
Jimmy Kennedy with another big hit on that one, but that guy right now is a story. You know, we've got so many different people. Now, Brett Favre's going to retire. Is Tavares Jackson going to come back? Who in the world is going to be the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings? We've got a candidate throwing his hat in the ring.
We've got a quarterback situation that needs to be resolved. We have a coach situation that needs to be resolved. 2nd down and 5. Frazier, the interim head coach. Vick. And there is Allen taking him down. And in a way, Leslie Frazier, this is an audition for him. And when the Vikings hierarchy takes a look at Frazier, the one thing in his favor right now, you couldn't have asked for 3 crazier weeks for a football team.
Now, the Eagles just got away with a hold here working against Kevin Williams. You could see it as he came around, just grabbed the shoulder pad. But I thought that was a really good play by Jared Allen on the outside. He thought about dipping inside. He said, Mike Vick's been escaping to my left. He held his ground, and that time was able to chase him down.
3rd and 7. All the receivers in tight. Vick under pressure again, scrambling away. And Michael is going to be stopped a little short of the 1st down. Frank Walker comes up to stop him, and that's going to make it 4th down and 1 at the 31-yard line.
Well, I'm not sure LaShawn McCoy may have gotten away with a little hold on this one, too. As his linebacker was escaping, kind of gets his arm out and around, but no call there. And, boy, that's some escape by Mike Vick. We saw him do it last week, too.
You need 2 scores. You need a field goal and a touchdown. They could kick or attempt a 48-yard field goal. Instead, they're going to go for it on a huge 4th and 1. And McCoy is going to break a tackle in the backfield and get that 1st down. Just for a moment, the crowd had its collective hearts in its throats. Kevin Williams almost had him in the backfield. Instead, 1st down.
Well, Kevin Williams really had him dead to right here, right there. And for a little guy like LaShawn McCoy to put that stiff arm right in his face and knock him down, They talk so much about how much more physical, how much stronger LaShawn McCoy came back this year. That time he may have just saved the Eagles' night.
26. McCoy again, and he gets tripped up that time as E.J. Henderson, the middle linebacker, got him before he could get untracked. 2nd and 9.
It's really amazing that the Vikings have been able to blitz as much as they have tonight and not give up a big play. Typically, if you're bringing that kind of pressure, you're going to end up giving up something deep down the field. But they just continue to send these linebackers, and it's been very difficult to make anything happen. About the majority of the offense has been Mike Vick scrambling out and making something happen.
And Vick will throw in that time. That's a good play by Walker. Frank Walker knocking it down with his hand in front of Deshaun Jackson. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
Well, they're trying to get Jared Allen isolated one-on-one up here against Jason Peters, but by doing that, they're sliding the line away, and there's this constant alley up and inside to Mike Vick's left, which is where he wants to scramble anyway. You can see that's exactly where he wants to play, and if he'd thrown it back inside to the slot where Antoine Winfield abandoned, might have had the 1st down.
Big 3rd and 9 from the 25. And Vick will fire to a wide open Macklin. 1st down at the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal.
Right there, you're going to have Jeremy Macklin, and they're going to have a drop by Jared Allen. They don't rush him this time, and he just can't quite get deep enough. You can see him. It's going to just drop in right over his head. He's trying to get backwards, but he's no linebacker.
1st and goal from the 10-yard line as Vick fires to the end zone, and that one is batted and incomplete. Hussein Abdullah, who had an interception in the 1st half, knocking it away.
Well, that time Mike Vick. There we go. We're going to get this play coming in right here at the last second. And I tell you, I have to give these Minnesota Vikings secondary members a lot of credit tonight. So many guys hurt back there. Madieu Williams, Tyrell Johnson, Chris Cook, Cedric Griffin. These are basically a lot of backups on the field, and they keep making plays.
2nd and goal. Vick on a draw, and Vick will take it to the end zone for an Eagle touchdown. They parted the sea for him. The only guy he had to beat was Sanford, and he did that fairly easily.
Same thing this time. They go down inside once the outside pass rusher comes up the field. Winston Justice just takes him down inside, and so basically every time the Vikings go to that outside speed rush, they just run them up the field, wall off the rest of them, and it's been a nice adjustment by Marty Morningwig here.
Akers to make it a 3-point game, which he does. So a huge 4th down pickup by McCoy, breaking a tackle. Vick pays it off with a rushing touchdown, and Minnesota's lead shaved to 3. Webb, Chase, still alive, and Webb will thread his way into the end zone. So Webb, the 8th rookie to start a game at quarterback in the National Football League this season, ready to come back. His lead is now 3, and you've got a kickoff here by Akers. It's going to spin out of bounds to give Minnesota the ball at the 40-yard line. Pretty uncharacteristic for that guy.
40-yard line, 1st down.
10-17 remaining in the 4th quarter. Andy not happy with his Pro Bowl kicker, 17-14. And so it's going to end for Brett Favre. I mean, he says this is it. It's the end of year number 20. The question is, will he play in Detroit next week as Webb goes back and avoids initially the sack and then throws incomplete. And of course, the other thing hanging over Favre, and it's been out there since October, of course, well chronicled, the alleged texts that were sent to the former Jets in-house employee Jen Sturger 2 years ago when Brett was a member of the Jets. Roger Goodell and the league has been investigating. It's been ongoing since October. Goodell has said that he's going to rule before the end of the season. The season ends on Sunday. So something is going to come down in regard to that. Whether there's punishment or not, whether there's a fine or not, whatever it is, it's going to have to come down in the next 3 or 4 days. 2nd and 10. And that pass is caught. That is Bernard Berrien, tackled there by Jose Leo Hansen. You know, Chris, you go back to all of the things that the Vikings thought could happen this year, and of course that's the reason they sent the posse to Mississippi to bring him back, because you had all of that. You had all the great things that happened last year. Then there was the terrible ending, the interception in New Orleans. And I mentioned at the top of the show, it turned out to be fool's gold last year.
As a fan, I wish he'd have stayed home.
He may have too. 3rd and 2. And that's caught by Lorenzo Booker. And Booker is out of bounds at about the 47-yard line.
Tell you what, that's a heck of a formation on the outside. They do a little diamond formation with 4 receivers out. Essentially, you've got these 3 guys in front now just going to block. And that is a big pickup. I was about to say before this drive started, I would play this thing like I was behind by 3 points. There's no way you're going to keep this Eagles offense out of the end zone the rest of the way. You have to go attack, and they're doing that.
From the 46. And here's Peterson. And he can't go anywhere. Passel of green shirts, Quay Parker right there in the middle. Under 9 minutes to go. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
You know, though, this has been some performance, because you're talking about the Minnesota Vikings team, and they have 2 of their better offensive linemen out, and Steve Hutchinson, the great Pro Bowler, and Anthony Herrera is out with knee injury, and Ryan Cook and Krista Gears coming in. Should also make mention of the fact that John Sullivan, their center's had all kinds of issues snapping the last few weeks, but tonight, no issue at all.
2nd and 10. And the rookie throws, and that's an errant pass intended for Shanko. 3rd and 11. Remember that hit that Sidney Rice took before the helmet from Samuels, and now they're reporting from the bench head injury, and Rice is done for the night.
Well, if the NFL did what I think is right, Asante Samuel should be out of the game as well. An ejection would be much better than a fine in that situation.
Third and 10. And the Eagles are going to take a timeout on defense.
That hurts.
Yeah. So the Eagles, they had 11 guys on the field. We just counted them up during the commercial, took a look at the tape. But they didn't like the way it was set up on a 3rd and 11. So they were forced to take a timeout.
Remember the Shanko play that they hit behind Chaney earlier.
This time Shanko stays in the block, and the pass is caught over the middle by Percy Harvin. 1st down at the 28-yard line, and a huge grin on the face of Webb.
Same exact play they hit earlier. This is right up and across. Chaney gets there, but he gets beat on the move. And what a throw by Joe Webb, who's acting like he started about 13 years instead of about 13 plays coming into this game. Fantastic. I tell you, I love watching a young player come of age in a prime time before the nation kind of game.
A guy drafted as a wide receiver in the 6th round. Peterson inside the 20, inside the 10, and out of bounds at the 2-yard line. 1st and goal. And again, this place is totally silent.
Well, for all the good plays Kirk Coleman has made tonight, he just blew that one right out here. His job, he's got to contain Adrian Peterson. You cannot let him bounce it all the way out. Nobody else left. They're lucky that one didn't go the distance, but almost. That one's sort of been ticking all night. They've just missed 2 or 3 times on these plays, and then finally Peterson hit him.
27-yard gain. That's 111 yards for Peterson tonight. trying to add a couple more. Flag down. Flag down in the 2 flags in each corner of the end zone.
Men on the field. Defense half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
Boy, you take a defensive timeout, and then you have too many guys on the field.
Let's see what we've got going here. 8, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12. There you go.
There you go. For sure, 2 officials saw it. And that means we're back to first down, and we're first and goal from the 1. And here's Peterson again. Puts his head down, and no signal yet. Now there is. Touchdown. Adrian Peterson takes it into the end zone with 6:43 remaining in the 4th quarter.
You know, sometimes Adrian Peterson just has to take it into his own hands here. Watch him this time. Remember, he got stood up down there earlier. This time lower than the lowest and just pounded that thing in there. But the play on 3rd down by Joe Webb, the pass when he had to have it, he found the rookie on the other side. Jamar Chaney took advantage. And this has just been a remarkable performance.
Sid Harvin cost Philadelphia a defensive timeout. And now you've got Longwell. You got a flag down. You saw one of the officials come over and pat the butt of one of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, you can't line up on the center anymore.
Nope. He was trying to tell him that.
He tried to give him a clue, didn't he?
Yeah, right.
And he still didn't move.
Illegal formation. Defense number 58 lined up over the center. It's a 5-yard penalty that would be forced on the kickoff. Timeout.
6:43. Adrian Peterson on that drive. Now with 112 yards, 18 carries, and the Minnesota Vikings are up by 10. Philadelphia. Quarterback comparison tonight. Kind of hard to believe in a way. Webb looking like a veteran quarterback. Good job by him. Big 3rd down pass to Harvin. Vick with 1 interception, 2 fumbles, and here was that 3rd down play. Perfect spiral right into the midst of Harvin, and then Peterson took care of the rest.
And he looks like he's been doing it his whole life, doesn't he? I mean,
he does.
You know, at Alabama Birmingham, Joe Webb was one of those kind of option quarterbacks, you know, like Cam Newton at Auburn, where they make the read and he ran for as many yards and as any quarterback in college football, 3rd most all time. And yet tonight he just looks like a pocket passer.
Longwell's kickoff. Fielded at the 2-yard line. Hall, and Hall gets stuffed. That's Heath Farwell. And the Viking linebackers knocking him down.
Well, Mike Vick has been taking some shots. He's been sacked 5 times, which ties a season high. But it's also taken a little bit out of him. The more that you hit this guy, I refer to it as boxing all the time, but body shots late in rounds usually take their toll. And Mike had a brilliant drive on that last one, but he needs 2 now in short order. But we learned last week he has plenty of time for that.
He starts from the 16-yard line, down by 10. They have another big comeback. This is McCoy. Pretty good start to this drive. Great start, in fact. And out he goes to the 44-yard line. Lito Shepard. That's it. Makes the tackle after a gain of 28 yards. And they'll go without a huddle here.
This is one of the great single runs I've seen this year. How many people did he make miss? There's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't even have time to show it to you.
No huddle, 44-yard line. And this is Selleck, and he'll take the ball to just about the midfield stripe. Tackle there by Shepard. We tick down under 6 minutes to go in regulation.
I tell you, for all the great things Deshaun Jackson and Michael Vick have done this season, LaShawn McCoy is at least as valuable.
2nd down and 5. Vick. Short pass, good enough for the first down. McCoy takes the ball to the 42-yard line, tackled there by Winfield.
And right now, the Vikings in a pretty soft, preventish kind of defense. So Vick will have some of those underneath throws. No blitzes, none of the stuff we've seen for the first 3 quarters.
Vick underneath again, and that's incomplete, intended for Macklin. And Winfield got there just as the ball arrived. At least second down and 10 with 5:09 remaining.
Well, Antoine Winfield, as he's been doing all night, making life uncomfortable for Mike Vick. He's just reading his eyes, comes off late. Not a comfortable catch for Jeremy Macklin. He saw Winfield coming at him. They may be coming back with some pressure here.
Indeed they do. McCoy trying to pick up Greenway, and he does, but coming around the other side is Leroy Guyon, number 98, who gets the sack.
Well, even though LaShawn McCoy ends up making the block here, Mike Vick has to escape, and it disrupts him enough that he ends up flipping around until Leroy Guyon can come in the backside and make that tackle.
That is the 6th time Vick has been sacked tonight. He's lost 2 fumbles. He's had 1 pick, and now he's faced with a 3rd and 18. And he goes deep downfield, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for Jason Avant. Coverage was good by the safety Jamarcus Sanford, and it's 4th and 18 with 4.5 to play.
Well, Jamarcus Sanford's been in the middle of a lot of things here tonight. He just very calmly made this read. They've got a lot of safeties out. And Mike Vick just couldn't hit it. And Mike Vick is limping around pretty good out there on the field right now.
Greg Puckett, who's now the defensive coordinator when Frazier ascended to the top spot. Andy Reid has chosen to punt on a 4th and 18 with the ball at the 50-yard line. So Sav Rocca comes in. It's the end-over-end kick that is taken by Camarillo at the 14-yard line, and now Philadelphia compelled to use its 2 remaining timeouts on defense.
Oh, this last drive by Joe Webb, just brilliant. I mean, for a young player, this was a big 3rd down conversion early on, that little diamond formation they ran. And here it was, the play of the game as far as I was concerned. Threading the needle in there, recognizing Jamar Chaney was in coverage, and then Peterson finishing that thing off. And they're just a few first downs away from ending this thing right now.
From the 14-yard line, Peterson with that 52nd career rushing touchdown, and his career is less than 4 complete years old. That ties a franchise record. Go back to Bill Brown and Chuck Foreman, 2 great former Vikings, couple of decades ago. And Philadelphia takes a timeout, so AP's next touchdown will put him on top. And right now the Chicago Bears are ready to send a big thank you note to the Minnesota Vikings, because a Philadelphia loss cements a bye for Chicago, and the Bears still have a chance to get the number 1 seed if they win, if they beat Green Bay, and Atlanta somehow loses to Carolina. Chicago would be 1, but right now you've got Atlanta and Chicago that would get the byes, and Philadelphia puts themselves in a position right now to be the 3 seed, meaning a playoff game here the weekend of January 8th and 9th, then a road game for sure, and then you'll see where the highest seeded team hosts the championship game at the end. 2nd down and 8. Peterson again to the 18-yard line, and the Philadelphia Eagles have taken their final timeout with 4:14 left.
You know, the interesting thing about this is the Giants are about to take their 3rd loss of the year at the hands of the Philadelphia Eagles, because by losing this one, the Giants effectively eliminated in that one. So as long as, you know, the Chicago Bears, if they don't play their guys and really try to go after it.
Well, a Green Bay win would eliminate the Giants. And you've got, of course, Atlanta right now. They hold the ace because they play Carolina and they should win the game. And then New Orleans is going to wind up most likely as the number 5 team. And if Green Bay gets in, they wind up as the number 6 team. But meanwhile, you know, it's the same thing in a way that happened to Philadelphia last year. They had a chance by winning in Dallas to get a bye in the number 2 seed. They lost, put them in the 6th spot. And of course, they went to Dallas and lost back-to-back weeks. And that summarily ended Donovan McNabb's stay in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I know Lovie Smith has said that he's going to play his guys full out regardless. Sometimes you get an injury in the second half of one of those games and all of a sudden your strategy can change a little bit. Have to have it here for the Philadelphia defense. This is generally a blitz down for them.
3rd down and 6. Here's Webb, and can Webb get the first down? He's very, very close. Head linesman comes in. They're going to put the Philadelphia's Andy, of course, is out of challenges. If this is close enough, and it's not even close enough, Mike Carey says first down. And Andy doesn't have a timeout, so he doesn't have a challenge. So take a look here. It doesn't even matter because Mike Carey's already signaled first down. If Andy had wanted to challenge.
And remember the one defensive timeout they had to burn.
Right.
And right now, I think that one would have been marked much shorter than that and probably would have been a 4th down.
Conceivably. Yep. But it's all moot. The only time the clock stops now is at the 2-minute warning. Mr. Joe Webb. Chris, I don't know what to say. Is Peterson, except for the fact we've been in the same hotel with the Vikings for the last 4 days, and you know the guys were going a little stir crazy. They actually went down to the Eagle facility and worked out a little bit yesterday, had a walkthrough. But most of the guys spent a good part of the time either in the gym or in the spa. So maybe it's spa treatments. Maybe that's the key.
That and a hot young quarterback on the other side. But this has been really a stunning performance. 2 touchdown favorites the Philadelphia Eagles were coming in off of that huge come from behind win against the New York Giants. Of course, clinched the division. But they look like they had nothing to play for tonight.
Webb, I'm not quite sure what this is all about.
Uh-oh.
Oh, of all things, of all things.
He's down! He's down! He's down!
Of course, the Vikings are saying he's down. And again, Reed can't challenge this no matter what happens.
The ruling on the field is down by contact. 3rd down.
Wow. No timeouts, no challenges. Let's see.
Well, it looked like Broderick Bunkley tripped him up, and it did look like the knee was down on the ground. There you go. He's definitely going to touch him and put him to the ground. That knee's down. Right. Good call.
Yep, good call. Very good call.
Ooh.
So a challenge wouldn't have done anything there. But why in the world are you going to fool around and run a play like that? 2-minute warning. 2 minutes remaining in Philadelphia, where the Minnesota Vikings are about to pull off a stunner. 24-14 Vikes. Wendy's post-game report is coming up. Andrea with a star or stars of the game. Bob and Tony and Mike Florio is here to wrap up the game and talk about all the things happening around the National Football League on this Tuesday. And we will take a look ahead to the final game of the season. And the winner goes to the playoffs the following week and hosts a wild card game, and the loser is done for 2010. So the Minnesota Vikings, 3rd and 11, will not be able to run the clock out. Philadelphia without a timeout. You know, it'll be interesting, Chris, for the Chicago Bears especially. I mean, there's a carrot dangling out there. I mean, it's a long way away. But at 1 o'clock, you've got the game between Atlanta and Carolina. Let's say Carolina wins. The other thing that would have to happen is Tampa Bay would have to beat New Orleans. That's also a 1 o'clock game. So if for some reason at 1 o'clock Eastern time, you got a victory by Tampa Bay and a victory by Carolina, all of a sudden the Chicago Bears are going to Lambeau with a chance for the #1 seed.
That's a lot of ifs and a lot of carrots right there. If Atlanta can't take care of business on that front, then you know. But this has been a little bit of a surprising couple of days here, hasn't it?
Well, it started Sunday. We had the forecast and the icicles and craziness, and they kept the field in very good shape, trying to get rid of the snow as it fell. Winds were gusting at about 40 to 50 miles an hour the other night. And then 2 nights later, in come the Vikings as 2 touchdown underdogs in this one. Rookie quarterback, drafted as a wideout, and he's had a really good night. Looks like a 6-year veteran, 17 to 26 for 195 yards. Defense has done its work. Webb goes in for a touchdown right there. Minnesota ready to pull off a major upset, but the kick stays in bounds to Jeremy Maclin. Always an uh-oh when you punt to Philadelphia, whether it's Jackson or Maclin.
It was Kluwe who, after he kicked it, knew it wasn't going to go out of bounds.
You know, you go all the way back, and we're not going to sit here and tell you what we think medically about Vic, but on the very first play of the game tonight, very first play, he got up a little gimpy, and he's been whacked and hit, and you can see him right now, less than 100%. 45-yard line. False start.
False start. Offense number 74. 5-yard penalty is still first down. There'll be no 10-second runoff. The clock was dead.
Winston Justice.
You know, the interesting part about this, Al, is it possible this could play to the advantage of the Philadelphia Eagles? Mike Vick is dinged up. You've got Deshaun Jackson with the bad foot. They'd have nothing to play for next week. Locked in as a 3 seed. Take some time off. Get ready for the next one. Who knows?
Interesting thought. Dallas comes in 5 days. Vick throws. That's Selleck. And he'll pick up the first down, but the clock will keep on rolling.
Well, you need 2 scores. Doesn't order which, no matter which order they come in.
If they can get at least in field goal range, send Akers out and then try the onside kick. And Vick's going to throw deep and incomplete. Frank Walker doing the job that time on Deshaun Jackson, who after that huge performance at the Meadowlands last week has been limited tonight to 2 catches for 32 yards.
Yeah, and I don't think that he really looks like himself tonight either. You know, the one guy who seems to have his legs underneath him tonight is LaShawn McCoy. And other than that, you know, we're so used to seeing the pop that we saw in the 4th quarter against the Giants. And tonight, even with the extra 2 days, it just was not there.
2nd and 10. And Vick again under pressure. Selleck to the 30-yard line. That'll be a first down, but inexorably the clock ticking down toward a pair of zeros. Vick will spike it, but it's all over and he's limping.
He got hit again on that last one.
He did all night.
Yeah, you know, and it's a great strategy to see Mike Vick out running and doing all this stuff, but he has taken these kinds of shots time after time after time, and you can see he's done.
Well, you know the way people are always saying at this time of year, you know, the team you don't want to face in the playoffs is X. Well, I'll tell you something. The team you never want to face on a Tuesday night, the Minnesota Vikings.
For the first time starting quarterback.
Oh boy. And that pass is incomplete, and there's 1 tick left. And so the Eagles will get ready for Dallas, and their fate is already sealed. They've let the final second roll off the clock. There's Vic with Peterson. It's to Joe Webb. Boy, that's going to be an interesting next couple of weeks in Minnesota with Webb and his future. And what about Leslie Frazier? Does he get the full-time job? What about the stadium? Favre, 99% going to retire. A lot of stuff going on, but through it all, the Minnesota Vikings come in and shock the Eagles 24-14. Coming up next, the Wendy's postgame report. Andrew with the star of the game, Bob Tony and Mike Florio wrapping things up from Philadelphia after these messages from your local NBC station.